Now, it's Pace of Play.
Come on, Glenn! Come on! Get your head in the damn game!
Putting the boys on the clock.
I guess we're playing for keeps now.
The fuck?
Welcome back, everybody, to Pace of Play here on the 19th hole. Lee, let's start off with the Masters. A very, very huge incident, as you know, concerning Tiger Woods with purportedly an illegal drop that, caused all sorts of havoc. And my question, a lot of havoc. My question to you is, Lee, should an organization like the people at Augusta National, have complete autonomy over the rules for a golf tournament like that? It's their event. They put it on the way they want. They make the calls. But after all, this is a major. I know they've come out lately and said they will make sure that there is a, quote, rules official with every group next year, hopefully to stop this kind of thing. But do you think that they're capable, or it's good business, if you will, for the people at Augusta National, the members, to handle the rules and all of the other stuff that go along with a major to hopefully avoid some of the controversy that a ruling like this caused with Tiger Woods, involving Tiger Woods?
Well, let's clarify a little bit. First and foremost, the green coats, the members, don't control the rules. The rules are the rules. And on that rules committee, and we'll talk a little bit about Fred Ridley, but on that rules committee are rules officials from the PGA Tour, rules officials from the USGA, rules officials from the European PGA Tour. So the Masters don't control the rules. And unfortunately, I don't think a rules official with that group would have kept this from happening. The fact of the matter is, unless the rules official is called over, of which there was one at the end of every hole, unless he's called over, the player proceeds on his own. The rules official doesn't step in. So it wouldn't cause this from happening, and probably Bobby Jones rolling over in his grave if we would even ask if they are capable of hosting this tournament. But I think, yes, they absolutely control what they control. It's their major. The USGA does theirs in the U.S. Open. The R&A does theirs with the British Open. The PGA of America does theirs with the with the PGA Championship. So absolutely, I think it's perfect the way it is.
Tiger's taking a lot of heat, as you know, because a lot of people think that he should have DQ'd himself. But when let's put yourself in his position or any player's position. You're playing in a major. You're trying to win this golf tournament and all the prestige that it brings. If you get literally a free pass, if you will, from the committee at Augusta National, you got to be out of your mind to even consider for a second of DQing yourself or dropping out.
Yeah, look, he
There's
got
no way that was going to happen.
He got the two-shot penalty. Yeah. He got the two-shot penalties playing by the rules, and we're going to talk about that. I want to ask that question in our next. Who's more at fault from that the controversy, the disaster, whatever you want to call it? Who's more at fault in this? We'll give you three choices. It's Tiger, Fred Ridley, and the Augusta Rules Committee, or the television viewer slash caller that called in and brought this thing up.
Well, that's a very good question, and at first I'd be kind of upset and say, the guy, the pinhead that called it in over the television, but what?
That sucks.
Yeah, it does suck. But you know what? The bottom line is the responsibility of play, the responsibility of following the rules of golf, both local and R&A, USGA, whatever it is, resides with the player, Lee, and it's ultimately up to the player. So I got to put it on Tiger Woods.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go with the rules committee. I think they made a lot of decisions that probably could have nipped this thing right in the bud. There's no doubt that Tiger made an incorrect drop. There's no doubt that he incriminated himself in the interview, in the post-round interview. And you know how much we've talked about it on this show. You know how much I can't stand these sofa rules officials that call in. But first off, the rules committee made a bad decision by answering the phone. They don't have to answer the phone when it rings to get somebody to from a caller. they reviewed it while Tiger was playing 18, and they deemed the drop to be okay. I think that was a bad decision.
All right, that was a bad decision.
There's no doubt that even on it was 3 or 4 feet at least, based on the view. They didn't talk to Tiger after his round. I think was a mistake. I think if they would have spoken to him, they could have found out what Tiger's intent was before the interview. Could have assessed him the 2-shot penalty. It would have been done that day. And then obviously carrying it over to the next day and after Tiger, showed his intent in the interview.
I mean, it was sloppy.
Yeah.
I mean, there was no doubt of it. And he has absolutely no intent in the world to cheat or anything. That's not Tiger at all. But
he got confused by the rule.
Yeah, he did.
Because of typically when you hit the ball in the water, you have your point where it last crossed the margin of the hazard and the flag, and you can go back as far as you want. And he got confused by the fact that it hit the flag and kicked off to the left.
And that's ironic. He hit a stellar shot that he almost sunk, and then the whole thing caused it because he hit the flag.
Well, I think I mentioned last week
got tapped.
Graham McDowell, tweeted out and said, "We play our entire careers aiming at these things, and when we hit them, when we hit what we're aiming at, nothing good happens."
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, let's turn it around a little bit and talk about some of the other majors. We talked about this a little bit before with the Open. Now, the Open, you got to get up here at 4 o'clock in the morning to watch basically the whole round, and that's good if you've got the time. You get up early, watch it a couple hours before you go to work. It's usually on the television when you come home, for crying out loud. I mean, they give you the whole day. Why don't they do that with the other majors? We need more coverage of these big events, and I don't think it's any big deal for the network to set that up.
Yeah,
a lot of people would like to see it.
No, I totally agree. I unfortunately I don't think it's CBS's issue. I think it's the Masters giving them the
time, right?
Allowing them to cover what they want.
Absolutely right.
It's obviously it's hard to argue with the Masters. Yeah. They've created an unbelievable event that seems to have drama based on how the golf course and the level of play and all those types of things. I think ratings are up 26% this year over last year. So it's hard to argue with what they're doing. And obviously you would bring up too much of a good thing can hurt. But I would love to see some more behind the scenes stuff. Yeah. I mean, this HBO creation of 24/7 leading up to these fights is an unbelievable behind the scenes of people training and those types of things. And then obviously people tee off at 10 and leaders don't tee off till 2:45. Yeah. I think you could see every shot from start to finish.
I do too. I'd rather see that than 60 minutes of Ben Crenshaw rehashing his last Masters win when he got very emotional and this and that. That's old news. Okay, everybody knows about that. Nobody gives a crap about that. Show the live event. Show the guys.
And it's expanded over the years. I give him a little bit of credit because how long ago was it? 10 years where we didn't even know what hole number 3 looked like.
True. That's a good point.
And now at least we get to see the leaders.
That's a good point.
Play hole 3. All right. On a lighter note, Adam Scott.
Yeah.
Obviously, we were talking a little bit about him being a UNLV guy, not being a UNLV guy, going here but not really claiming it, those types of things. Well, on a lighter note, he has been approached by the producers of The Bachelor to be on the show. And be the next Bachelor, obviously as a Masters champion, probably wear the green jacket on each episode. But he has declined that opportunity. You think this is an insult to Adam's good taste, or should he be honored by even the ask?
It's a total insult. The last guy in the world that you got to think about getting hooked up with Adam. With women is Adam Scott, number 1. He's got more women chasing him than Carter's got liver pills, number 2. Why would he want to go on a stupid, nonsensical show that I think, I don't know if you've watched it. I've watched it maybe, every once in a while. From the women I see on there, they're absolutely tire biters. What does he need to embarrass himself? It's a total come down for this guy. Have you seen some of the women that Adam Scott has dated? He's got a girlfriend now currently, and I believe he had a news conference right after this and says, "I'm not single. I'm back with my girlfriend.
Well, I
It was
think
pretty,
that's the point.
It was pretty smoking.
Yeah, I think
But,
that's the point.
yeah.
I don't think he should be insulted. I think he should be honored. I think his girlfriend should be insulted. I think he should be honored. I'm obviously going to have to look up, do a little research on exactly what a tire biter is. After the show, you'll have to explain that to me. This is a great show. I like watching it.
You actually like this?
I'm not a huge follower. I was a big follower back in I think 2010, the Jake Pavelka season, when he had Tinley and Vienna and Ali Fedotowsky. I think that turned into the Bachelorette. I mean, that was a great season. I haven't watched it since, but overall,
I missed it.
I think the girlfriend should be the one that's insulted.
But I know that even if he wasn't going with anybody, I don't think Adam Scott would have done it. Doesn't need it. Doesn't need it for crying out loud.
I love this job.
Yeah, I would love this job too. We Are Golf, an organization every year that comes together with all of the executives from the major golf organizations around the country. They go to Congress every year and they kind of sit down and they kind of explain where golf is, where it's been, where it's going, how important it is to the economy, how much money it makes, how many people they employed. And I don't know, Lee, with today's problems in the world, with the gun control, with the immigration problems going on, with the wars that we've got going on, with the budgets that we've got going on, how important could this possibly be to our congressional men and women hearing about the golf industry?
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say. I think it's very important. I think it's extremely important as long as we're not stealing time from the military, budget, job creation, homeland security, immigration, environment, taxes, gun control. I mean, you name all of the things. As long as we're not stealing time from that, I think it's very important.
Yeah.
No, I think it's very important for us in the industry. I mean, I'm not sure that it needs to be done every year. Keeping golf in the forefront, if there's any way that we can talk about its economic impact and it can help us with water prices and real estate taxes and environmental control, because it obviously is very involved. Charity is a huge thing. I was reading a stat that just in 2011, golf and these charity events that we had Greg on earlier, all across the country raised $3.9 billion through golf tournaments.
Well, I agree with you. The charity, the water, the
and let's not
agronomy, but it's a pimple on the rear end of humanity. It doesn't mean anything up against the big picture today in government, Lee. That's all my point is.
Well, I think you're right to a certain extent, but the fact of the matter is I think the listeners need to know that the golf industry across the country provides the United States with 2 million jobs.
Yeah.
So, water prices and those types of things, I mean, especially here in Las Vegas, as water prices climb, we're going to put golf courses out of business, which is going to have an effect on those 2 million jobs.
I agree.
We got to be careful.
Always a trickle-down effect.
Yeah.
Always.
All right. Hey, big announcement for us here, obviously, with the Shriners event, and I know we got to hustle to end this segment, but, the Masters announced that these fall events and the Shriners tournament included here at TPC Summerlin is going to, the winner is going to get an invite to the Masters. Is this a big deal to you?
It is a big deal. I'm more so. I'm very happy that it happened. It should happen, as we discussed about on the show. You've won a full-fledged PGA Tour event, especially one now that has full FedEx Cup point. There's no reason not to invite these guys to the Masters. I think it's great.
I do too, and I do think it's a big deal. If you and just from a selfish standpoint for our tournament, you increase the purse and you give the full points and a Masters invitation.
You're going to get
winner.
some players there.
I think it's going to continue to improve.
You're going to get some players there. I agree with you. All right, that's going to wrap it up for this edition of Pace of Play here on 19th Hole Weekend Edition.